Hey, sickos. I'm LJ.
And I'm Tao.
And this is...
Don't Tell My Therapist. Hello, everybody. Today's episode, we have another murder for you.
Yes. This one's chosen especially by Toe.
Yeah, this is a sad case. But, you know, I think it's a good one to cover.
Yeah.
Made a lot of headlines. It's fairly recent, within recent years, so a lot of you probably are familiar with it. This is going to be the case of Kelsey Berreth. Mm-hmm. Okay, and without further ado, I think we'll get right into this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Kelsey Berreth was 29 years old, and she was a pilot. Specifically, she was a flight instructor. And she lived in Woodland Park, Colorado. And she was actually, again, she was working as a flight instructor at DOS Aviation in Colorado Springs. She was working at their facility in Pueblo, Colorado, where supposedly, I guess they operate the initial flight training for the U.S. Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what she was doing. She was also a mother to 1-year-old Kaylee.
No.
Little girl, Precious. And she was engaged to Patrick Frazee.
Okay.
So, and he was also the father of their 1-year-old.
Okay.
And Kelsey and Patrick met online, and it said that Kelsey moved to Colorado to be with him in 2016. So, the people that knew Kelsey, her coworkers, her loved ones, her family, described her as really just a sweet, loving, quiet girl, very girl next door. They said she was just infatuated with being a mom.
Yeah.
She loved her daughter so much. And their relationship eventually became strained, Kelsey and Patrick. Mm-hmm. But even as it became strained, Kelsey was really determined to make a life and a family with Patrick. Meanwhile, girl, let me tell you about this Patrick.
Okay.
He was up to some shit.
Lay it on me, sister.
So he was spreading lies about Kelsey to his friends and family. Specifically, I believe I read that he was saying she was on drugs.
That's like a pretty big lie.
Yeah, and, you know, honestly, especially for, you know...
Somebody who's a pilot.
That's
significant
really
and potentially really damaging.
So you're not only trying to take your kid away, but you're potentially going to ruin her career.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... he also claimed that she was abusive towards their daughter, which is a straight up lie. Kelsey was a devout Christian, I believe. She loved her God. She loved her family. Really good girl. She was last seen on November 22nd, 2018. And on December 2nd, 2018, Kelsey's mother, Kelsey Berreth, called the Woodland Police Department to do a welfare check.
Okay.
She hadn't spoken to Kelsey since the 22nd, which was Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
So, yeah. And this was really alarming to Cheryl because
atypical.
Yeah, super atypical. She was very close with her mom, very close with her family. They would talk often. So she was extremely concerned. The police arrived to Kelsey's home, and they found her car still in the driveway, her purse and cell phone missing, and there was supposedly stale, uneaten food on the kitchen counter.
Oh.
All of her work gear, makeup, and luggage and everything were still there.
So it wasn't like this is a person who just, like, intentionally left.
She did not intentionally leave. It was very clear.
Right.
A missing persons report was filed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, police, of course, began investigating, began searching for Kelsey.
Sure.
Searching for clues. They discovered that she was last seen at around 12:30 p.m. on the 22nd, again, Thanksgiving Day.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in a Safeway supermarket grocery store shopping with her daughter. There's security footage of her walking into the store with her daughter in the, little car seat.
Right. So at this point in time, is the daughter accounted for, or do we not know?
So at this point in time, Kaylee is with her father.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
so
for sure.
Cheryl, Kelsey's mother, had spoken to her on the phone that day, as it, again, was Thanksgiving.
Right.
Kaylee, again, was safe with her father, Patrick Frazee. Patrick told police that he, too, had not seen or heard from Kelsey since the 22nd of November, and claimed that on that day they exchanged custody of Kaylee.
Okay.
Now, I will say, in some of my research, I saw reports that Patrick later changed that story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he really changed the story or if that was just conflicted reporting.
Okay, yeah.
It was kind of hard to say.
That makes sense.
So, but we'll get to that in a minute. Patrick told the police that... So, again, remember, we said that Patrick and Kelsey were engaged.
Right.
Okay. So, Patrick told police that he and Kelsey did not live together, and that, as a matter of fact, they had split up.
Okay. I was going to ask, because you said exchanged custody, and I was like, wait a minute.
So, it's a little unclear. I mean, we'll never hear Kelsey's side of the story as to what their relationship status was at the time.
Right.
But he's saying they're done. So, police came looking for Kelsey, of course. Patrick suggested, well, she's a pilot. Maybe she flew somewhere.
Okay.
And Cheryl's calling bullshit. She's saying, bro, she would have said, like, if she went and flew somewhere.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, there would be flight records that would be...
Yeah, she would have filed a flight plan, of course.
Yeah.
If a plane goes down, I mean, it's found pretty quickly.
Right.
So, let's see. He also, it's important to note that, he also never reported her missing after 10 days of supposedly no contact.
Oh, come on.
We don't like that, right?
No. I mean, that's red flag city.
Absolutely. So, Patrick told police that he received a text from Kelsey's phone on November 25th. The content of this alleged text message is unclear.
Okay, so he just says he got it?
He just says that he got
it.
I couldn't find anything in regards to the content of the text message.
Got it.
So, Kelsey's employer also received a text from her phone on the 25th.
Okay.
Stating that she would be taking the following week off.
Interesting.
Fishy, right? Additionally, the police did discover that on the same day, Kelsey's phone pinged near Gooding, Idaho, which is approximately 800 miles from her home in Colorado.
Yeah, that's a ways off.
Yeah, we don't like that. And, you know, maybe that's where Patrick was trying to go with that. Maybe she
flew somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
He's trying to, like, support that narrative probably in some way.
Yeah, maybe. You guys can guess where this one is going. And again, this is fairly recent years. A lot of you are probably familiar with this story. You may have seen it in headlines. Mm-hmm. But so at this point, the police have no leads.
Right.
They got nothing. Worth noting that there was a prayer vigil. Mm-hmm. It was organized, I think, just by some random community members that saw her story on the news and just wanted to do something. And Patrick did not attend.
Of course not.
He didn't attend any of the press conferences regarding Kelsey's disappearance. Nothing. He kind of was trying to wash his hands of the situation. Sure. Stayed holed up on his property. Let's see here. 4 days after the missing persons report was filed, police executed a search warrant on Patrick Frazee's property.
As they should have done 4 days prior, truly.
Unfortunately, as we'll find out, it wouldn't have made a difference.
God.
Patrick had previously told Cheryl that he had had enough and that he wasn't going to deal with things anymore. I'm assuming that this is in reference to the investigation.
Okay.
So he's like, I'm not going to deal with this shit anymore. You know, he's running out of excuses.
Right. He's just probably feeling backed into a corner and just doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, Patrick's attorney claimed he had been cooperating despite his suspicious behavior. Which...
Like, no, you haven't.
Sounds like a lawyer doing his lawyer job, frankly.
But a pretty shitty defense nonetheless.
Honestly, it could have been better.
Yeah.
Frazee released a statement via his attorney stating that he submitted to a search of his cell phone and submitted photos and a DNA sample. And then he also stated that he was only notified of the press conference 1 hour prior, thus his absence, supposedly. Cheryl went to Kelsey's home to look for any shred of evidence that she could find. At this point, she's frustrated. Kelsey's family's frustrated. They're taking matters into their own hands.
And Cheryl is mom, right?
Cheryl is mom,
okay.
Yeah. And she found a stain on the underside of the toilet that turned out to be blood.
Oh.
Yeah. So, upon further investigation, the police found blood in the toilet, on the bathtub, the walls, the floor, the bottom of a trash can, a towel rack, the vanity, and an electrical outlet.
It's like a fair amount of blood.
That's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
You can kind of guess where this is going next. Patrick Frazee was arrested on December 21st and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of solicitation of first-degree murder.
What, solicitation? So does that mean, like, this is like a hitman type situation?
So, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that part's coming right up.
Wowzers.
So, yeah. So, a few days later, police arrested 32-year-old Crystal Lee Kenny, a nurse in Idaho.
Oh.
Piecing together now?
Yeah.
About 40 minutes from the place, Kelsey's phone had pinged. So,
do we know how he knows this lady?
Oh, we know.
We know? Okay.
Investigators revealed that she was the person who sent the messages from Crystal's phone to Patrick and her employer.
Okay.
I'm sorry, from Kelsey's phone. Did I say Crystal?
I thought you said Kelsey, but
okay.
I don't know. We've been recording pods all night.
We've been recording pods all night. We may be losing it.
Yeah,
so,
it's fine. But from Kelsey's phone.
From Kelsey's phone to Patrick and her employer.
I knew what you meant.
She pled guilty to 1 count of tampering with evidence and agreed to testify against Patrick.
Okay.
So, how does Patrick know Crystal?
Yeah.
She's a side piece.
Of course she is.
But, get this, Patrick had been on and off with Crystal for 10 years.
Okay.
So it sounds like they were actually messing around before he and Kelsey?
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Patrick wanted Kelsey gone.
Okay.
But he
at that point, get divorced, you fucking lunatic.
They weren't even married.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They were engaged. Like, just break up,
but he wanted
bro.
full custody of Kaylee.
Well, that wasn't going to happen for him, and it never should have to begin with.
Absolutely not. Patrick was also the beneficiary of her life insurance policy.
Of course he was.
So, he told Crystal that Kelsey was a horrible and abusive mother, and Patrick and Crystal came up with a plan that Crystal would steal drugs from her job and poison Kelsey's coffee.
And Crystal was just like, yeah, that sounds good.
Like, you guys, this is so cringe how stupid
like when
these people
crazy
are.
meets crazy.
Honestly, like...
How do you even strike up that conversation with confidence and...
Well, I mean, to be fair, they had been on and off for 10 years, so they have, like...
Yeah, but, I mean... Like, okay, for example, right? And I know this is not the same as, like, a partnership, okay?
Right.
But me and Lexi have been friends 20 years, since I was in 4th grade. There is not a circumstance in the world under which I think I could call Lexi
and be
like, hey,
can you help me do a whack?
Yeah, like, I just feel like there's somebody that I need to take out.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that I've known and loved longer than you.
Lexi would never.
No, I mean she wouldn't. But I mean,
have to pick a different friend.
Even so, okay, you. It's been
not me
5 years. Not for legal purposes. This is all just hypothetical. Hypothetical. But still, you and I have been together 5 years. We live up each other's assholes.
Yeah.
My kids call you Aunt Toe.
Right.
I mean, like we're practically family at this point.
Yeah.
We're both feral.
Yeah.
We both love true crime.
Yeah.
Again, I could not, like...
Call me and be like, hey, Toe, I need to whack somebody.
Yeah, like, do you think we could take care of this? I mean, I don't think there's a situation where we could, like, not laugh about it and be like, ha-ha, okay, it's a joke. I mean, at what point are you like, ha-ha, ha, no.
No.
Really?
Like, we're not actually doing
and then they're just like, okay, yeah. Like, let's do it. Like, what? To me, like, two people coming together and just naturally having that bad of an idea and just being like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wrap my... I'm sorry. Go on.
So this is where the solicitation of murder charges comes from.
Okay.
But I just want to take a moment to express how fucking stupid these two are.
I mean, I've already feel that.
Apparently, Crystal, there's two, like,
yeah, because they're hard.
Yeah. Crystal was to walk up to Kelsey's house with a Starbucks cup full of poison coffee and just give it to her.
Like, just like, hi, nice to meet you. Drink this poison coffee, stranger.
On what planet is that a good fucking scheme?
That's a terrible idea.
Who just walks up to somebody's house with Starbucks? I would probably throw the Starbucks back in their fucking face.
If somebody walked up to my house with Starbucks, I wouldn't even know what to do. I certainly wouldn't drink it, though.
Exactly. Like, I don't even, like...
Oh my god, I said that, and then I was immediately like, I'm an idiot, and I'm so naive. I would be like, wow, thanks for the coffee, and I would die.
More than likely.
I probably would just die.
But Crystal later said that she walked up to Kelsey's house and lied about who she was. I would love to know what she actually said. I couldn't find information. I don't know. But ultimately, she couldn't go through with it. A second time, he sent her to Kelsey's home with a metal pipe and instructions to use it.
Seriously?
These two jackasses, I can't.
I'm like, I'm sorry, and I do not mean this at all in the way where, like, I'm supporting this murder, obviously. But I'm just saying, he's trying to send this girl to do it because he's not man enough to do it himself.
Yeah.
Or because he doesn't want to get caught, or whatever.
Whatever his reasons are. I mean, or maybe it's like some, like, sick, like, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, just to see how far she'll go, you know?
Oh, yeah, like a test sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like there's a word for that. If anybody knows the word
The word for test in this context.
Please share that with us.
I didn't know what you mean, though.
Yeah, but maybe it's that, whatever his reasons are, honestly, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, this is not how you murder people.
I mean, don't murder people. Just don't do it.
But I'm just saying,
they're just morons.
So bogus.
Yeah.
Like, I've never
it's like, none of these ideas are good.
seen a worse murder plot.
Yeah. And, like, I'm sorry, but first and foremost, like, we all know, anybody who follows true crime, who's the first person that they look at?
Oh, the significant other.
It's the spouse. Yeah, for sure. Like, the partner, whatever. So I'm sure that's probably why he scapegoated this love interest of him. But, I mean, like, who's the second person you look at? The person they're having an affair with.
Absolutely.
So this whole thing is just outrageous, and I hate it for Kelsey and her family. But go on.
Yeah. Such a great family that really didn't deserve this. Anyhow, supposedly she, again, chickened out and left the pipe in the driveway. A third time, Patrick instructed her to wait outside of Kelsey's home with a baseball bat. This time, Crystal actually refused to do it.
Good. It's about time,
Yeah,
honey.
way to do the fucking bare minimum, Crystal. And by the way, she's actually out of jail right now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, she's a free woman. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but as we speak, she is running free, and I hope she's listening to this. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, this is, I just, under what circumstance?
Well, listen, we've both been in manipulative, abusive relationships in the past.
Absolutely.
I get it, but you can't justify this.
No. I'm just, like, flabbergasted. And the fact that she's, like, out just roaming, like, I am speechless. Truly.
Yeah, no.
It's disgusting.
And I think prosecutors described it as, like, something like making a deal with the devil.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I can completely understand why they would say that, because, I mean, her behavior in this situation...
And you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to save lives.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's, like, an oath they even take about...
I don't know if do they take an oath?
Do they take an oath?
Doctors? I don't know.
Nurses,
way,
do you take oaths? Drop us a line.
Drop us a line so we know about that, nurses.
Yeah.
No, but really, like, honestly... Like, I doubt she listens to podcasts about her own crime, but if she does...
Sure. If you're really that type of person...
Crystal, literally go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Patrick's like, okay, 3 times you didn't do it, I'm gonna finish the job myself.
Not that he couldn't have done it himself the first 3 times he was trying to get somebody else to do it for him.
Thank you.
Or could have just not done it at all.
He could have just, ended the relationship like a fucking civilized person.
Yeah, that was always an option available to him, not that he realized.
Yeah. So, on Thanksgiving Day, Patrick arrived to Kelsey's residence, concealing a baseball bat.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, while sweet 1-year-old Kaylee was playing in the next room...
Oh, no.
Patrick blindfolded Kelsey. He pretended that he was going to light scented candles and play a guessing game with her to have her guess the scents. Which I think goes to the actual state of their relationship.
Right.
Is maybe not
as bad as he was leading on.
Yeah. So... And listen, we all know relationships are complex. You can be like halfway done, not done. I get it.
Yeah.
But So that's what he did. So he pretended he was going to play a guessing game, and instead he pulled out the bat and struck Kelsey somewhere between 10 and 15 times.
Which is insane. I mean, I was watching something recently. It was a different true crime. I can't even remember whose murder was being covered, but something that really stuck out to me was there was a statement by the prosecuting attorney where he said that with crimes like this, and in this instance that I'm talking about, it was a stabbing rather than the bat, but he said every time that knife, in this case this bat, went up or went down, that's premeditation. Yeah, every single time.
Absolutely.
And it's bad enough that this was, premeditated well in advance. But, you have any point in time to turn around and say, this was a bad idea. Things in our relationship aren't great, or I want out. But there's something else that I can do here other than beat this poor woman, this mother, this, child. It sounds like she had a great relationship with her mom, Cheryl, to death. You could have done anything else. And instead, he not only went through with it, but went through with it in an extremely brutal way.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it said that Kelsey's last words were, "Please stop."
Oh, honey.
And later on, I apologize, I don't recall who said this, but I think it was a relative of Kelsey's, said that, that just goes to show her character.
Yeah.
That in her last moments, begging for her life, she said, "Please."
Yeah, absolutely.
Please stop.
Please. Oh, gosh, that just hurts my heart.
Yeah, sweet girl.
And then there's sweet baby just in the next room.
Yeah, this one's a rough one, guys.
Yeah.
Toe picks the doozies.
She does.
I do.
She do be doozying.
I understood the assignment of true crime.
She did. Dangerously so.
LG's over there talking about Mouse Country.
I do love Mouse Country.
Yeah. So, after the deed was done, Patrick instructed Crystal to come and clean it up.
Oh my gosh.
Fearing that Patrick would kill her too, Crystal, she drove 12 hours from Idaho and spent 4 hours cleaning up the crime scene.
Oh my goodness.
After entering the home with Patrick had given her a key, so she entered Kelsey's home. She found massive amounts of blood all over the place, as we described previously.
Right.
The police found. She filled 6 garbage bags with items from the home that couldn't be cleaned, including pillows and baby toys.
Oh.
Yeah. And they burnt them. Crystal refused to help him dispose of the body, though. Once again, Crystal, thank you for doing the absolute fucking bare minimum.
Literally, barely even.
Literally. What do you want? A fucking
trophy? A medal?
If I refused to help him get rid of the body, though, well, you should have stopped him from killing her in the first place.
There was the option about 47,000 times to say...
to call the police.
Yeah. Literally.
And trust me, we're not advocates of that around here, but this is a situation where it was warranted.
Absolutely.
So he placed Kelsey's body into a black bag, took it to his family farm, and threw it in a water trough. He proceeded to douse it with gasoline, cover it in wood, and burn it. Crystal later testified that while they were watching Kelsey's body burn, so, okay, you physically didn't carry it, but you sat there and watched it.
Yeah, that just tells me that you're ew, it's a little gross. Not that you, actually have a fucking conscience.
Thank you. So, she testified that while they were watching Kelsey's body burn, that Patrick's mother, Sheila, stepped out onto the back porch and watched as well.
And she knew full and well what was going on?
Presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So they all suck. All three of them equally suck.
Everybody fucking sucks.
Okay, great.
So the prosecution basically focused on text messages, witness testimony, and the video surveillance footage.
Okay.
To kind of just establish the timeline that would prove Patrick guilty.
Okay.
Obviously they don't have a body.
Right. Because of the
burning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So that, that's working against the prosecution.
Sure.
But what they do have is Crystal's cooperation.
Which points for that, but you still fucking suck.
Literally half a fucking point because you're still a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Crystal. Or if you happen to, know Crystal and you're listening to this.
Tag her. Do us a favor.
We're not fans here.
No.
She did cooperate with the police. She took them to Kelsey's home.
Mm-hmm.
And, pointed out, the way... pretty much everything that she walked into.
Mm-hmm.
I believe she also accompanied them to Patrick Frazee's family's property.
To, show them where
the body was burned. Yeah. So, half a point for Crystal, I guess. But, she's at negative 50, so...
you still suck.
You still
endlessly.
Suck. Yeah. So... From what I understand, Crystal Lee really was the key witness here.
Okay. Which checks out.
And they did also hear from Kelsey's parents.
Mm-hmm.
And additionally, a Verizon store employee. So the Verizon store, which I know is coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The Verizon store employee testified that Patrick came into his store the day after Kelsey was reported missing to ask if there was a way to change the PIN on a phone that wasn't in his possession. And whether or not someone could retrieve information from a phone that had been destroyed.
Oh, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm literally rolling my eyes.
This guy, he's gotta have the fucking IQ of a snail.
I'm glad he does. Because it sounds like he's probably going to end up with jail time at least.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
So, okay. Kelsey's parents also just shared statements about how they lived in fear of retaliation from Patrick for months.
I would imagine that would be terrifying.
So not only are they, coping with the loss of their sweet daughter,
mm-hmm.
They lived in fear of retaliation from Patrick.
Sure.
And not to mention, up until Patrick's arrest, he still had custody of Kaylee.
Which is horrifying.
Which is horrifying for Kelsey's parents.
Yeah.
To think about the safety of their grandbaby.
Of course.
Of course, thankfully, they did eventually obtain custody of Kaylee.
Right.
So, Kelsey's parents did.
Thank God for that.
Thank God. So she's safe and she's with her, her maternal grandparents. Unfortunately, one day they are going to have to explain this all to her and
bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. Bless her heart.
Oh. My
heart really goes out to this whole family. So again, Crystal's testimony was key. There was evidence in the trial that did corroborate Crystal's story, but there wasn't really any direct physical evidence linking Patrick to the murder.
Okay.
So...
But, pump the brakes. How is there not? With all the blood that was in the home?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe he didn't leave behind any traces of himself.
Okay, like so a fingerprint or something. So I guess that would be hard because if technically they, previously shared the home or he claimed that he was there.
Absolutely.
I've seen tons of cases where they said, well, of course my DNA is there. We were partners or
right.
I said I was there all the time. So I could see why that would be harder to...
That would be really hard to pinpoint.
Sure.
So, while Patrick was in jail awaiting trial, another, this is the 5th episode of Patrick's a fucking dumbass.
Right.
So, while he was in jail awaiting trial, on the last day of his trial, another inmate told the court that Patrick had asked to use his connection to a prison gang to kill a number of witnesses in the case. The hit list was written on paper towels and napkins and included detailed instructions on where to find the victims.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Make better choices.
Yeah. Patrick's a real winner. Allegedly, he wanted the notes flushed, obviously. Surprised. But the inmate turned them over in hopes of receiving time off his own sentence.
Of course he did.
It took the jury 3 hours to reach a guilty verdict on the charges of murder.
Which is pretty quick.
With a deceased human body and 3 counts of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. So... he received life without parole plus an additional 156 years.
Oh, God. Love it.
Love that. So
he's never going to see the light of day.
Absolutely not. So the prosecution actually did not seek the death penalty in this case.
Why not?
The Berreths did not wish to pursue capital punishment.
Oh, okay.
And
so it's just respect for the family's wishes.
Yeah, from my understanding.
Okay.
Presumably. They said, quote, we respect life and leave Patrick in God's hands, end quote.
Okay, that's honorable.
Yeah, they were seemingly a really faithful family.
Right.
So, I mean...
I can get that. I know that, like, coming from a big Catholic family,
yeah,
like, the death penalty has always been a big, like...
Point
of interest or point of conversation.
Yeah.
I know that, like... technically, the death penalty is, like, inherently anti-Catholic or whatever, right. But, like, personally, I'm like,
yeah,
you know how I am. I'm like,
eye for an eye.
Take them out.
So, Crystal appeared in court in January of 2020.
Okay.
She received a sentence of 3 years for tampering with evidence. So, Crystal, like, literally got away with murder.
She did. That is an abomination of a sentence.
Well, just wait. There's more. So, again, the prosecution said something to the effect of it was like making a deal with the devil.
Right. And I understand why they needed to.
Yeah, they needed her cooperation. Again, cannot stress this enough. Please go fuck yourself, Crystal. Hard.
So hard.
Like,
you deserve nothing good.
Nothing.
You deserve the perpetual shits. I hope that any time that you have an itch and you go to scratch it, the itch moves just a little further.
Honestly.
To the side, and you can't reach it
I hope if you ever do find love again, I hope you get the shits on your wedding day.
Absolutely. I hope that it's like that scene from Bridesmaids where you're like pooping in a sink.
Absolutely.
Because you don't even deserve a toilet.
I wish.
Oh, or in the streets.
Is that your life sucks as bad as it can? Don't sue us, Rascal Flats.
They're probably on board. They're like, yeah, let's sing it.
Okay, so she received a sentence of 3 years for tampering with evidence. The charge typically carries a sentence of 18 months. However, the judge determined that due to specific circumstances in this case, more time was warranted.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this sentence was later vacated, and Crystal was resentenced to 18 months. Apparently, it was found on appeal that the judge really didn't have the authority to do that.
Really?
We do appreciate the effort, Judge. 5 stars for that judge.
Yeah, I mean, way to do your judge job. It felt like...
Do your judge job.
Felt like you did a 5-star judge job.
Yeah, and I believe she was released on time served at the time.
Okay.
When the sentence was vacated.
Wow.
So Crystal is...
out there being scummy.
Yeah. Patrick also attempted to appeal his sentence, citing juror misconduct, but the verdict in his case.
They were like, the only misconduct here was yours, you fucking asshole.
Yeah. So, it's kind of a short one today. It's an awful case. It's a sad case, but it's pretty black and white, cut and dry from start to finish.
Absolutely.
So,
we know who done it.
We know who done it. We know what happened, but I think it's important that this girl's story is told.
Yeah. And, you know, more importantly than anything, you know, that this family gets the peace and the justice that they deserve. And I know they'll never quite have, I mean, they'll never have the comfort of having Kelsey back in the way that I'm sure they want them to, but I just sincerely hope that nothing but good things come for this family. They deserve everything in the world.
This sweet little girl.
Yes, I hope she has the best life she can. I know her mommy's probably watching over her very closely. So yeah, but thank you for, you know, bringing the attention to that story. That's one that I haven't heard either, actually.
Yeah, I think a couple of pods have covered it. Again, this was 2018, so in terms of things that we cover, fairly recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one just stuck out to me.
Yeah. I can see why.
You can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess moving forward, you know, we've got more episodes coming your way. I kind of pumped the brakes on our Key West guy for Volume 2 of Florida Man. I felt like after Dennis Nelson...
Yeah, we needed a Happiest Place on Earth episode. Even though
it was, like, the spookiest version of that humanly possible.
This is a Trim Cry podcast.
Yeah. but it was a valid palate cleanser. And so coming to you next week, we're going to have a little more nasty necrophilia situation.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, that's Carl Tanzler. Yeah, the Key West guy, Florida man.
More necrophilia.
So, yeah, so just make sure that you guys, you know, we keep saying it, but we have to. It's literally like our job.
It's our job. We're doing our podcast job.
We are doing our podcast job. We're doing it so hard. So, if you appreciate our podcast job, you can find us on
Instagram,
Patreon,
TikTok,
Bonfire,
Facebook
groups.
Yeah, we have all the socials.
All the socials.
We are here to interact with you. And if you have a spooky story or maybe something you saw in the headlines or whatever, or
even like first-hand experience. And like think outside of the box. I mean, like weird like dreams, like encounter with spirit.
Yeah, even if it's like short, because we could potentially like read multiple in one episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't be afraid to shoot your shot and submit your story, and shoot us an email at don'ttellmytherapistpodcast@gmail.com, and LJ will categorize it into a special folder and get back to you promptly.
I will enjoy every moment of it. I love organizing emails for the pod.
She loves it.
Give me something to organize, baby cakes.
Honestly, it just tickles her.
It does. It tickles me to death.
So thank you for hanging with us today on this sad story. We appreciate each and every single one of you. And until next time, toodaloo.
Bye, sickos.
Did we perform a fuckaroni?